This is going to be real word salad. The Barendrecht Convention. It was great watching that talk by that person whose name I've forgotten. In that huge mess of code, I wrote using standard ML, not higher order standard ML. I was trying to construct a general framework for interpretation. The idea that I had was to rewrite my lazy typed lambda evaluator in a modular way so that you could plug modules in to the interpreter. And that's why I really liked the idea that Wadler was trying to do in that essence of functional programming. But I was really frustrated by the way it just didn't. I don't know. I just got angry with him, and I didn't hide it very well. So so much time I spent thinking these fuckers have got a secret, and they're not telling people what it is. They've got some kind of mechanical interpretation. Girard et al. As well. They've got some kind of mechanism there which they're not talking about, and all they're doing is producing concrete instances of it. If you can call coherent spaces concrete. And I just thought there's something simple at the bottom of this that they're not giving away. And I started thinking, well, maybe this is how academia works. This is how people come up with ideas. They have a model which produces, because it's mechanical, it's consistent, and it produces mathematics. And then they do these complicated proofs, and they present it all as if it was coming from mathematics, but it wasn't coming from mathematics. It was actually coming from a mechanism, and this mechanism was being hidden, and it really pissed me off, and it still pisses me off. That was a strong sense I got from reading Michael Potter's Set Theory and Its Logic. But I didn't get that feeling from any of Donna Scott's stuff that I've written. It's just the way it gets represented. Set Theory and Its Logic is based on Scott's stuff, but presumably before he produced that stochastic lambda calculus model. Anyway, what I wanted was a framework in which, because what the idea I had was you don't bother about normal forms anymore. You don't bother about reducing something to a normal form. That you can treat an expression that doesn't have a normal form as a kind of generator of stuff, as a process in itself, and you can unfold that process as far as you want. So it was just that my user interface was clunky for my Lambda calculator because it was all procedurally written, and I wanted to switch it to a framework in which there was this idea of expansion, which you could control. So, and you could just unfold this thing as far as you wanted to, and that's why I was interested in I managed to get what is it? The way you define lambda calculus, the Barendrecht convention, you simply assume that you're alpha converting to prevent the capture of free variables when you substitute under a binding. And it was easy. I just programmed the Barendrecht convention into some functors, and it was kind of built into and then the lambda evaluator did capture avoiding substitution, and it was all clear, it was all separated out and fine, and I wanted to be able to compose things like a substitutor, and I wanted to be able to program context so that you could program evaluation orders. You could do what is this normal order? Is it called normal order valuation? Where you reduce the functions before you reduce the arguments. The leftmost outermost, you do it leftmost outermost first. Anyway, there's a way of specifying these things just using contexts with holes to force the evaluation order in a certain way. And I wanted to include interpretation from lambda to any combinator. If you just define your combinators as functions of a kind, and that's what I was aiming for, and that's why I was interested in being able to compose interpreters. So at least now I've got a motive for studying. I understand why there's a whole thing there. And it's interesting that continuation doesn't fit within it. And the physics, well, I don't know, there must be some interesting stuff with gauge theories and topological invariance and things. But you need a framework in which you can express and explore these things.